The government has struggled to find a new slogan for this next stage. So how about this one? Muddled messaging costs lives.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Tonight we search for clarity for employers and workers, parents and teachers, those taking public transport and planes. And how close are we to understanding how many of us are immune? So as we've just heard, while the R value remains a work in progress, one of the other measures that can help to inform us on the path out of lockdown is to understand who's had the virus, how it's affected them and who they may have passed it on to. In Liverpool, they're about to do just that. We're going to follow researchers in the city as they start mapping the virus. Our health correspondent Deborah Cohen has this report.
What's happening in these labs in Liverpool will help us to better understand many things. The risks of hugging different family members in the COVID-19 era, or how a vaccine might work. But their research is just one strand of something much bigger. The city may be very much locked down, but at the University of Liverpool, they're recruiting 1,000 local people for a project they hope will unlock some of the secrets of the virus. The man leading the study plans to use blood tests, questionnaires and diaries to track the virus locally.
You can't see health as purely the do you have COVID, do you not have COVID. I think it's impressive how COVID is going to affect even the healthiest people of society in a dramatic way. So again, one of the key aspects of the work that we want to do within the household study is nested within that, is to understand people's mental health and their kind of, if I can call it that, economic health. Because both of those things are going to be immensely important for how people are going forward and as we move out of lockdown.
The scientists here are working towards people being able to home test accurately. Do that and you can help get hyper-localised R values, telling you about settings where the virus is spreading fast and where it isn't. At Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, these scientists are finding out how good ordinary people are at testing themselves for COVID-19. Sticking a tiny needle into their finger to draw blood.
A research nurse can go and take a test to the community and run an antibody test, and then we're also going to see if a participant can run the test themselves, and then we're going to compare the results. And if the results are accurate and the same between the professional and the participant, then we have a bit of a game-changing situation.
Dr. Lance Turtle is hoping widespread antibody testing in the community could also help with unlocking one of the virus's great mysteries.
We've got, clear instances of people in high-risk groups, for example, people who are elderly or have other reasons for being susceptible, who are becoming infected and they're getting no symptoms at all. And we don't really yet understand the difference between why one person gets, a life-threatening or even fatal illness and another person with the same virus and maybe similar risk factors gets almost nothing at all. Our feeling at the moment is there's probably not enough variation in the virus to explain that, and that's likely to be the response, the host response, the immune response, or the body's response of the person who gets infected.
So the antibody testing can direct scientists to those, including the very old, whose immune systems somehow knew how to keep COVID-19 at bay. Professor Julian Hisco wants to know how the virus mutates.
One of the reasons we're looking at the household is that we know exactly who's given the virus to whom and when they gave it. So it allows us to put a very particular accurate clock on virus transmission. And that's the type of thing we used when we were in West Africa looking at the transmission of Ebola virus between individuals and looking at the mutation rate in Ebola virus. We can use exactly the same type of technologies and techniques to look at the transmission of this virus to see whether it's changing very quickly or changing very slowly.
The more you speak to people who know a bit about COVID-19, the more you realise there is to learn about the virus, about how it spreads, about how some people appear vulnerable on paper but yet brush it off, and how the virus appears to change over time. The answers are unlikely to come quickly, but if these streets are to return to life again, understanding how the virus is moving among them is going to be crucial.
Deb Cohen with that report.